Hello, so today we're going to be sketching angles in radians. So we're going to actually talk about the radian measurement today. And so we measure angles two ways. And the way that we've been working with is degrees. But today we're going to be talking about radians. And from now on, we will be using radian measurements because that's upper level math, like pre-calc, which is after this class, or college algebra, or calculus. They use radians. So the degrees, we know that it is measured out of 360 degrees, which is all the way around the circle. And the radian has to do with the central angle that intercepts an arc S equal to the length of the radius. And so remember that the circumference is 2 pi r, but if you have a circle with radius 1, then the circumference is going to be 2 pi times the radius, which is 1, which ends up being 2 pi, which that means that 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. And also, the other thing that we do need to indicate is that when we use radians, you don't need to put the word radians next to it. Like when we do miles, we have to put miles or feet. Or if we have degrees, we have to indicate that something is measured in degrees. But if we use radius, you don't need to put the units on there. It's understood that it's there. So we're still talking about positive angles being clockwise, just like we did in the previous lesson here. And so we still have the initial side on the x-axis going to the terminal side. We're still going counterclockwise for a positive angle. It still goes counterclockwise. Remember, we use CCW for counterclockwise. We still have a 0 radians here. And then if we were to make a whole circle here on the coordinate plane, then we're going to go counterclockwise, and it's going to be 2 pi. So 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. We still have standard position angles. And that means that the initial side starts on the x-axis. And 90 degrees is still right here, but it is pi over 2 for the radian measurement. We still have 180 degrees going like this. And so the measurement in radians is pi. And then 270 degrees, which is this one right here, is going to be 3 pi over 2. And then the whole circle, we already said it was 2 pi. So this is still the same. It just changes the measurement form, which in this case is going to be 2 pi. 2 pi for the whole circle. We still have negative angles going clockwise. So we still go clockwise for a negative angle. We have the initial side on the x-axis. And then go rotate clockwise. It's going to become a negative angle. We still have 0 here on the x-axis. So if we want negative 2 pi, which is negative 360, we're going to start on the x-axis and we're going to rotate clockwise all the way around to make the circle. So that's negative 2 pi. So let's sketch negative 90. And negative 90 is going to be negative pi over 2. So remember, we're going to start on the x-axis. We're going to rotate clockwise, and this is negative pi over 2. So negative 90 is negative pi over 2. Negative 180 is negative pi. And so if we rotate it, we're going to start on the x-axis. We're going to rotate clockwise to indicate it's a negative angle. And negative 180 is negative pi. So put negative pi right there. Sorry, I didn't put that. Okay, let's move on here. Negative 270. So we're going to start on the x-axis with our initial side. We're going to keep going. And we're going to rotate clockwise to indicate a negative angle. And it's going to be negative 3 pi over 2. So negative pi is actually pi as well, which is negative 180. They're all coterminal angles. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Okay, so we're still going to be talking about coterminal angles having the same terminal side, but in this case, because we're using radians, we're going to add or subtract 2 pi as many times as necessary. This is the formula, but I don't want you to memorize the formula, because if you truly understand the definition of adding and subtracting a whole entire circle, which is 2 pi, then you're going to be okay. So we're going to find positive and negative coterminal angles. And to find the positive coterminal angle, you're going to add 2 pi. Now notice that now you have a fraction here, so we got to do it on the calculator. It's so important, because I'm not going to, if you know how to work with fractions, then you should doing it that way. But if you don't, let's just use a calculator. In the calculator, we're not going to put the pi in there, because pi is through 3.14. And if you multiply anything or divide anything with the decimal, it becomes really messy. So what you're going to do is you're going to put an imaginary 1 here that's next to the pi, which is 1 over 6 plus 2. So we're going to bring in the calculator. I'll bring in decimals, but you can use a graphing calculator as well. So right here we have the graphing calculator. We're going to 1 divided by 6, and then we're going to add 2. And notice, see how messy it is? You get a big old decimal. That's why you're going to change it into a fraction by pressing on the little circle right here next to the 1/6. And you're going to get 13 over 6. So we're going to go ahead and put that on our paper. So we're going to over here put 13 over 6. But really, we got to put the pi back in there. So it's 13 pi over 6, because we got to leave it in terms of pi. Now we're going to find the negative angle. So now we're going to do the negative angle. So we're going to do pi over 6 minus 2 pi. Again, on the calculator, we're going to do 1 over 6 minus 2. So let's go ahead and go to the calculator here. Okay, so right here we're going to put 1 over 6. And we're going to subtract 2. Notice we get a really messy number. So we're going to press the fraction bar right here. And we get negative 11 over 6. So we're going to get negative 11 over 6. But we got to put the pi back in. So it's negative 11 pi over 6. So that is going to be your negative coterminal angle. So again, right here, you're going to have the positive one. And the positive is going to be negative 3 pi over 4 plus 2 pi. So on the calculator, you're going to put negative 3 over 4 plus 2. And then we put the pi back in once we get that. Okay, so right here, we're going to do negative 3 over 4 plus 2. So right here. And then we're going to change it to a fraction. So it's going to be 5 over 4. And then might as well just do the one where you subtract the 2 pi. So then if we press on the fraction bar, you're going to get negative 11 over 4. So it's going to be 5 over 4 for the positive, 5 pi over 4, and negative 11 pi over 4. Okay, so this one is going to be 5 over 4. So you're going to put 5 pi over 4 for the positive. And now you're going to do the negative. The negative is negative 3 pi over 4 minus 2 pi. And that's going to be negative 11 pi over 4. So we did this on the calculator. Same thing with this over here. We're going to go on the calculator. We're going to add 2 pi. So we have 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi. And then go ahead and put that in the calculator. But in the calculator, remember, you're going to do 5 over 6 plus 2 only. Do not put the pi in, or you're not going to get the right answer. So you're going to get 17 over 6. And that's going to be 17 pi over 6. Now you're going to do the negative 5 pi over 6 minus 2 pi. You're going to do that on the calculator. And you're going to end up with negative 7 pi over 6. Okay, let's move on. We're going to do an example like Alex. And we're going to find a positive coterminal angle and a negative coterminal. Our angle's 30. So to find a positive, you're going to add 360. And you're going to end up with 390 degrees. You have 30 here. You're going to subtract 360. You're going to end up with negative 330. So this is the positive one. This one's the negative one. We're going to do 5 pi over 4. We're going to find a positive one by adding 2 pi. And we just did that over here on the top. Oh no, we had 5 pi over 6, sorry. So we're going to put this into the calculator and we're going to end up getting 13 pi over 4. And then we're going to do 5 pi over 4 minus 2 pi. And you're going to get negative 3 pi over 4. This is a 13. Okay. And that's how you do these. So let's continue with the last two in the next video. Okay. Go to the next video.